Okay, hi everyone. My name is Michał. This is Lucy. How are you guys?
Good.
Who's a developer here? I know there are two designers because we know them personally. Who else is a designer here? Oh, not many designers. Okay. And last question: who is developing a mobile app currently? Oh, nice. That was actually second last question. Last question is, who's developing her own app, like a startup, your startup, your app?
Your brand.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, why I'm asking, because I think it might be interesting for you, this talk, what to take into consideration when it comes to designing your app to make sure that your brand will be really nicely presented and will convey particular messages that are important.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, remote works. Just a bit about us. We're both designers. Before I worked for Nationwide News. I worked for Below, and our colleague is here from Below. And before I've run my design studio, product design studio for some time, helping larger and smaller organizations to obviously design something nice and bring some value to the business.
Yeah. And myself, I'm from Argentina. I moved here a couple of years ago, and now I'm working as a product designer at Below, one of the sponsors that we mentioned before. And I have global experience working for Latin America and Europe, and currently I'm working at Stan. I'm also a volunteer at Girls in Tech Australia, which promotes diversity and inclusion in the tech industry. And as you can see here, there's many guys, not many women. So next time we will try to accomplish that.
Very good.
Okay.
So what we'll cover today, first we'll try to answer the question, what is actually brand user experience and what are the important factors there. And we'll do a really quick design review of two apps from the same industry, showing you how similar apps doing similar jobs can be presented differently to convey different brand messaging. And finally, we will give you some insight into how to ensure coherence across digital products, because that's one of the most important things when it comes to brand communication.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why the slide is here?
Why is this here?
Probably you did it.
That's weird.
Technical break.
Technical break.
Just give us please a few seconds. Just
Stop sharing.
Yeah.
That's super weird.
No, not this one. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've got presenter notes. Presenters notes. Okay.
Are we?
No, I'll share the screen. Sorry, back. Sorry. Just we reshuffled something unintentionally just before the presentation. All right. So what is brand UX? So what is actually a brand? Many people think that brand is a logo. Others think the brand is, I don't know, colors. But actually, brands, and one of our favorite definitions of brand is the entirety of all interactions with your company. We believe it makes sense because logo might be, whereas a logo might be a good representation, one of the brand touch points. Actually, brand is something that is built across every single touch point. So meaning customer service, meaning packaging, meaning the leadership of the business, events, visual identity, so logo and colors. All these things create, represent a brand, but after all, brand is created in the minds of the customers based on every single interaction with your company. And there is something, also a quote from Jeff Bezos. What he said is, brand is what people say when you're not about you when you're not in the room. So the impression you sort of leave. And what is brand user experience? So brand user experience is something that lays in between your why, your promise, and the experience you have with the brand. So the proof. If there is any discrepancy between these two notions, that's where brand UX is not the best. And so interestingly, obviously, bad user experience occurs when experience is lower than the promise. But in fact, even if the experience is much higher than the promise, that's also not always best, because if you expect a particular segment when using a brand, if you're getting much more, you might get a bit anxious, thinking, "Oh, wait a second, I'm expecting this, so maybe they will charge me more for the services or for the products." Consistency is the most important thing. Just what I promise, I deliver that. If it's a bit more, obviously that's always great. You land in a hotel, you have little chocolate on your bed. You didn't expect that, but then it's nice, right? But if you're paying for a hostel and you're getting a presidential suite, you're like, yes, will I have to pay for this? So today we'll be focusing on digital products.
So now we have a little exercise for all of you. Let's imagine a colleague, someone that is working with you. Let's call him John. And imagine how he is. Like, he's a calm guy. He's always focused on his work, focused on the deliveries. He's really knowledgeable, so you trust him. You know that if you have a question, you can reach him and he will help you. And now let's imagine a different colleague, and let's call her Joanna. And think about that colleague that is always super creative, super fun. She's going with a lot of energy into the rooms, trying to be like open-minded about new ideas. And now, what do you think is the difference between these two people? What do you think is like different in them, about them?
Creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
She's preferable to work with.
Okay,
Could be, yeah.
could be.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, how about this?
Yeah, like what is different between them is their personality.
Yeah.
So let's ask our host tonight about what personality is. Okay, this is what Google told us that personality is, and let's focus on the first one. So basically, personality is a combination of characteristics that makes you unique. No? So what happened when we translate this concept and we talk about brand personality? So this is a psychological concept. And when we talk about brand personality, we are talking about a framework that a brand or an organization used to shape the way people think about them, like how to shape that perception of their customers is what they are trying to do when they think about their brand personality. And to think about this, they use a really well-known tool that is the 12 brand archetypes. There is a standardized tools that use like universal characteristics of different people to create these 12 kind of models.
Yeah, they derive some standard psychology from Carl Jung. So just to organize, it's easier
Those concepts,
it's
yeah.
easier to manage a project and stakeholders and teams to a bit pigeonhole a brand, right? Because we need to have ways of communicating what kind of values and a brand should represent. It just creates a bit more alignment. As an example, yeah,
We have different brands.
yeah, our host is a sage.
Yeah, all the
According
archetypes.
to this graphic here. But in order to really communicate the brand, and you need frameworks and way of bringing everyone on the same page in marketing, but not only in marketing, also within product teams. But we'll chat about this later.
Yeah. So what happened with the brand's lack of vitality and coherence? And let me guide you through some examples so we can talk about this in an easy way. Imagine that you meet someone that behaves all the time in a different way. So today that person is super formal, you see them tomorrow again, and he's casual, like chill, relax. And then the next day he seems to be like really eccentric and it's behaving in a different way. So you will think that probably that person is a hard person to make a connection with, because you never know how that person is going to interact. Or you think that probably it's going to be hard to make a meaningful connection with that person. So something similar happened with a brand and a customer. So let's think now about your the bank app, for example. So I'm sure that all of you are using a bank app. So what happened when you receive an email or a communication in the app from that bank? What happened if you see in there like a spelling mistake, or the logo is changing, or I don't know, the tone of voice is different? You will probably think, specifically in this case, that is a scam, or like something's wrong with that brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with banks, because banks is an example of a product or service you're using that trust is really paramount. You're not letting your money to keep by someone you just don't trust. So
Exactly.
even a logo scaled unproportionally would make you feel, oh, yeah,
what is happening? Yeah. So all these are problems that can happen when a brand lacks vitality and coherence. But mainly what happens is that brand is losing trust, is losing market opportunities, and it's also losing the segment or the position that brand has in the market. So now, because we are designers, we were thinking what we can do as designers to help these organizations to shape the perception of the brand in the digital space. And we go back to the beginning.
Yeah. So we discussed John and Joanna with different personalities. I still think they both are great employees and they work hard. They just have different personalities and work maybe in a different way, in different ways. Yeah. So what if we, considered a mobile app to be a person? Because if we're using psychological concepts to create brands, they must have something in common. Brands and people, or relationships that we build with brands are potentially very similar to relationships we build with people.
Yeah, and the same attribute that we use to describe a person, we can use to describe a brand.
Yes, I trust someone, I don't trust someone, or someone changes all the time and I don't trust that person. So what we've come up with is a small case study, a review of two apps from the same industry, serving the same purpose, but with highly distinct personalities. And you'll see the difference. And anyone is using this product?
Eubank?
Eubank?
No? Anyone? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how about this one? Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool, but it's different because both are cool, just in different ways. As you can see, even the slogans for these brands, for these products, convey different message. Eubank is about taking control of your money, whereas Upbank, your path to feeling good about the money. And I'm sure in both cases you can make transfers, you can save, you can, do all the banking stuff.
Yeah.
But they definitely tap into different areas of of your needs or your emotional needs. Okay, so let's get into it. So if we are to consider a banking app, a mobile app, as it was a person, what would be the counterpart of UX designer's work or UX of the app? What would be the sort of a human counterpart of it?
The equivalent in a human person. In a human person. In a human.
Mm-hmm.
Face.
Sorry?
Face.
The face?
The face.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, or
Something else?
Yeah, could be. Any other ideas?
What's an example?
Hmm?
What's an example? So this is something that the designer brings to the brand.
So, what would be the equivalent of UX in the app, but in a human, in a person?
Humans will dress.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Okay,
that's
that's
something
close.
like that. Yeah. So
Is with it. Appearance, he says appearance. Yeah.
Expectation.
Okay.
also, yeah. Maybe let's get into actually a few slides later. Let's get into UI. You mentioned physical appearance.
So UI
That's
is,
UI,
yeah, exactly. That's the first layer. It's the first thing that you're seeing about an app, a mobile app.
Yeah. So let's just dive into it.
Yeah. So if we have a look at the icons that these two apps are using, in the case of Ubank, you can see that they have like these linear icons that they are helping you to understand the information that they are presenting. They also use the icons in their navigation. So it's like easy for you to understand where you want to go. And they use them to kind of guide you through their quick actions. So they work okay. They are like very geometrical, easy to understand, very simple icons. They are good. They work. And then if we see what AppBank is doing, they have a similar kind of behavior. They use some linear icons to, in this case, as you can see here, like to identify quick actions or like easy ways to go where you want to go. But then they also have a different kind of illustrations, a different type. They are like a small illustration with a little bit of details. And they use that for their product and promotion. So you will never see something like that in Ubank. Sorry, they are so similar, the names.
Yeah, the names are similar.
So you will never see something like that because they're targeting different segments. So they're making these differences and these decisions on purpose to target those segments.
Yeah, so yeah, vastly different. Just
like even the things that they are telling you is like, hey, it's like a year that you have been with us. Like that tone of voice also is like different in both of them, and we will see that later.
So let's have a look at the UX. I'll just go back a little bit. What if UX will be what people say and just how they say it? So obviously, UX work is information hierarchy and the behavior of the product. So with Ubank, you'll find a pretty standard, very solid, trustworthy bottom navigation tab with 5 icons. That's something that you would expect from a mobile app. So potentially nothing new.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's like
it's a well-known pattern. We know that works. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But with AppBank, they introduced something vastly different. You have this little top swiping navigation thing, and more scalable, by the way, because you get put more icons. But it's almost deriving from another app that you also swipe left, right. That's probably, I don't need to mention that name. But it's a completely different pattern, and I could assume that the audience for this app is a bit more tech savvy. They might know on average better than you can swipe without having any clear indication that there is something to swipe. But you swipe. You just swipe. You see this this navigation there with also little animated circles here. It's a completely different navigation that is probably unseen in banking apps.
So if we go back to the UI, but then we focus on the color, and I'm sure you have seen this color wheel before, we can easily see at a glance that the colors that both of these brands are using are exactly in the opposite side of this wheel. So you can see how Ubank is using the blues and these like greens, and that is because they want to communicate balance, support, honesty, trust. They are like more stable, like security. And then on the other side, we have Upbank using these yellows and oranges and reds because they want to be a little bit more punch. They want to be like, they want to encourage you. They want to be inspiring you positivity, optimism, enthusiasm. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. Also in the way that they have been using their animations, they seems to be a little bit more like funny than Ubank.
Yeah, absolutely.
Serious.
They just convey different values through the colors because every color has a meaning, and at some level always ignites some emotions. So it is even funny to see that these colors are on the exactly opposite sides of the color wheel. All right, so if UI is the physical appearance and humans, what would be micro interactions equivalent in humans and in people?
Sorry?
Greeting? Yeah, go on. What else? Dialogue.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, body language,
Yeah.
which is, they say, 70% of communication, right? Is body language, which, after a few beers, that's why you don't need to speak other language to communicate perfectly. You don't need words to do it. Let's have a look.
Yeah, so let's see how this scrolling, in this case, is working. These micro interactions are working here. So for Ubank, we can see that they have this well-known pattern. It's like a scrolling. And then if you click or tap in any of the bottom tray items, you will go to all of these different screens. And then you can also scroll them and see what is there and discover or find the content that you're looking for. But what happened in Upbank, sorry, it's a little bit different. Like they still have the scroll, but also they have like this bumpy movement. And one of our favorites animation is this one that when you press the screen, kind of scroll down or push down and then release, you save $1 each time. So of course we are not going to be that all the time to increase your savings, but it's a nice touch. If you want to play with the app, as you were saying before, it's like, it's fun. It's interesting. And it's different from the other patterns that we know.
Definitely. Yeah, it's more fun. Yeah, so when it comes to the entire brand communication process, of course, you've got a company who is actually the brand, composes the brand, because a company creates mission and vision, right? Okay, this is who we want to be, this is what we aim to do, this is how we want to change the world. So I think company is the brand. Then on the other side, there's market, right? There's customer who interprets whatever there is, whatever a customer knows about the company. So whatever interacts with the company. And then in between, there is a designer, and there is product team. There is a team that actually creates these interactions.
Yeah, we call them designers, but it's like the whole team working on this communication.
Exactly, yeah, because design, after all, is a collaborative process. Designers, yeah, probably we can draw maybe a bit better, but we need developers, we need product owners, we need all the stakeholders to actually come up with something. So teams use attributes of a brand defined by the company to support, to help create an image of a company, or just support whatever company wants to do. So how to actually ensure a consistent brand UX across many different touchpoints? We've observed a lot of siloed situations where marketing team and product team are separated, and they only catch up when there is, I don't know, passover of brand book. Okay, this is the brand book, design an app. But it's definitely not enough to really design something consistent with some like deeper, meaning in the product. So obviously, collaboration is essential, but collaboration on daily basis across mostly marketing and products. I think over the past 10, 15 years, developing products, marketing and technology have become almost one. Not every company understands that, in our opinion. So technically, what could we do to actually maybe inspire this collaboration? And we think making brand guidelines part of the design system, or design system part of brand guidelines, doesn't matter, but having really a mean of communication or a single source of truth for everyone would be a way to go. Because if two departments that are separated talked or spoke the same language, that at least increases the chance of really creating something that when marketing sees and developers and product teams are proud of, and they just speak the same language. Cross-functional collaboration. So again, the same, having the same source of truth. Leadership support, very important. I think if the CEO understands that, that's great. Great example, Airbnb. CEO of Airbnb is a designer. One of these examples where he really structures the company in a way that is based on design thinking. Strategy. Define brand UX strategy. So what are the OKRs? How are we measuring?
Yeah, and iterate on that strategy. It's like not having that as a document that we have here. Okay, this is going to be our strategy moving forward. It's something that you have to revisit.
Yeah, definitely.
All the time.
Yeah, strategy is a process, not a document. And strategy is something created by everyone in the team. At least that's supposed to be. It's not a document, written by the board of directors and then, okay, make this strategy happen. It just doesn't work like that. Feedback loop. Yes, I think the greatest products have been created based on feedback and with the users. And that's why probably you've got MVP to really listen. I think any product team's job is to listen, really. And incorporate two types of data. Operational could be standard, like conversion rates or time spent on, click-through rates, things like that. But also in conjunction with experience data, so more emotional part. So having the full picture could help manage the branding properly and see whether we are on the right track to in creation of the brand, and if this is just consistent with what a company or the leadership wanted to achieve. Is it worthwhile?
Yeah,
That
like how,
seems like
how
a lot
we
of
prove that this is the way of doing things.
Yeah, so we'll just let numbers speak.
Yeah, exactly. So we have some numbers to help everyone prove that. For example, it takes only less than a second to make an opinion about someone when someone enters to a room. So that's exactly the same thing that is going to happen with your brand. When someone is going to interact with your service, buy your product.
Yeah, I like the interview example. Sometimes, you're hiring, someone enters the room, and you sort of know sometimes. Sometimes not. Sometimes you don't. But you've got this intuition many times. And it's the same with the brands. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny because the way this information there, these sentences are structured, again, you could easily talk about someone, not a brand, but about someone like that. A consumer say authenticity is important when they decided, and when deciding what brands they like or support. Or 46% of surveyed consumers say that they would pay for more for brands they trust. So, values, trust, position on a social or political issue.
Exactly. So if you think about any of your friends, like someone that you want to spend time with, that you like to spend time with, that you trust as person, that you share the same values, that's a friend. And now think about your favorite product or that brand that you consume all the time. It's kind of the same thing. Probably you buy like product or services from that brand because you trust them. You know that they have some quality on those products. You like the way they present them. You like to interact with that product. So it's the same. Like
yeah, the relationship is really similar.
Yeah.
There's even a notion called love brands. I'm not sure if anyone heard about this. Love brands love brand is a brand that really ignites a lot of emotions. I really think Google is one of these examples. At least I remember years ago when I was using Apple Calendar, but then when I realized but I preferred Google Calendar, and I realized I can actually download the Google Calendar on my Mac. I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not saying this because we're at Google, and we're not sponsored by Google, but yeah, it's a really strong brand.
Yeah. And now we also have QRs. Kartik is not the only one with them. So if you can scan this QR and give us some feedback, that would be great for us. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Any questions maybe, or
any comments or questions?
I've got the mic here if you've got questions.
There is one question.
Where? Raise your hand.
Oh, sorry. I thought that you were like...
He's the cheer squad.
Okay.
There's a question here.
Yeah.
How would you feel about having like one dude or dudette that would be the voice for the brand, so any communication has to go through that person to try to build the personality? Like, would that work, or is it more about trying to build a manifesto to communicate it?
What was the first part of the question?
Like
again?
to have a person, like the
dedicated
voice,
person
so
working.
like that person's the personality for the company, like a Mark Zuckerberg sort of, but he writes all the emails to the people. So it's like, hey guys, we're releasing a new product. Tell me what you think of it. But you can sort of tell that it's been written by that person. Like is that a technique, or is that sort of maybe bad practice?
I think two things just sprung in my mind. One is a brand hero might be one thing. Sometimes you have just not personalities, but you can have brand heroes, or you can have also endorsed brand. So, for example, a sportsperson might be a brand endorser. But these are just tools in brand communication, and I think it might have been a strategized thing to do with Mark Zuckerberg. That, hey, we want to keep it this kind of culture within the company, because any company has internal and external consumers. Externals, obviously clients, but also internal. Any team member is also a brand consumer, because I might identify with a company. That's why I want to work for that company. So I could probably guess that it was. And it's not fake, for example, what Mark would be doing there. It's just that, yes, we want to be that type of company. So let's keep this communication very casual, very open, and very close to everyone.
Cool.
So yeah,
Thanks.
if that answers the question.
Yeah.
I've got a very simple question. As part of your personal user experience, did you deliberately wear the same color tops today?
Is it the
Sometimes.
same?
It's not the first time that we are doing this talk and we match in our
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
wearing
great minds
without-
think alike, you know.
it might not seem the same to designers, but for developers, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, hi. I wanted to ask you, is this quite similar to what we call a trade dress? Have you heard of trade dress?
No.
Trade dress is a subsection of trademarks. So you can actually trademark, we call it trade dress when you have a special, unique experience for your clients, but not in the digital world yet. I'm not sure whether they have in the digital world,
Mhm.
but in the physical world they have. Trade dress, we call it.
Trick dress.
Trade, Trade, dress, Dress.
Oh wow!
Dress.
No, I never heard about this,
Yes.
but I'm very keen to,
You
yeah,
just
to
have a
learn
look
more
here.
about
This is
it.
a big business.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, one here.
Our boss.
Hey, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on what technical aspects and what their impact is on brand. So things like, performance, quality assurance, things like that. How does that contribute to brand experience?
Quality assurance. Great question.
Yeah.
Because quality assurance, I would guess, it associates in my head with mostly delivery of design reviews. As if we consider design reviews of the build, so that's for sure.
Yeah.
So probably that's another take on the collaboration and cross-functional collaboration. So maybe it would make sense to involve marketing with design reviews. So then product designer and someone from marketing are reviewing the same thing.
Yeah.